Good morning. Good morning. Give me just a moment to pop into these different windows and go live. But as you get here, make sure you say hello. Let me know that you're here. And watching. All right. And that one is go. And now let's see if this one is a go. I appreciate your patience. If you're here watching the replay, you can fast forward just a little bit, and you don't have to sit and do this with me. All right, and then back over here. Okay. And now give me just one more moment while I pull this up on my phone so that I can see what's going on. And all right. All right. Beautiful. So I got it all set up and we are good to go. I'm super excited to be here with you this morning. I just was on a retreat in Tennessee at Wildwoods Retreat. And good morning, Wendy. Great to have you here. So you must be in between cruises right now. Yay. Yay. So good to have you home. I'm sure you'd rather be on a cruise, but that's okay. So while I was on this retreat, it was beautiful weather for one thing. It was a little chilly at night, but it was nice and warm during the day. And I got to completely step away from all the noise. No notifications. I actually would put my phone on my charger and just leave it there. So no distractions. I took my laptop with me thinking I'm going to get some work done. I didn't even pull it out of its case because it was just us. And we were in this beautiful little area that Sue at Wildwoods Retreat had created for guests. Home till Halloween. All right. But what she's done is just beyond amazing. Now, I knew she was doing homesteading and getting all this stuff created, but I had no idea the vision she had and the things that she was doing there, right? So and Christine and I stayed together. We kind of roomed together, but it wasn't really a room, but it was a place that she calls Otter Beach because it's this really beautiful, magnificent flowing creek. And it has a little area that the otters have made a home in. And so there's a mother otter and two pups. Now, we didn't see them, but we heard them. But she created this space. It's like this, almost like it's a platform deck, and it has all natural wood that are the post, and it has a roof on it, and it has these billowing curtains and fairy lights. It was so relaxing and inviting. And it had two beds in there. We had a little campfire right outside at the creek. One night we actually cooked on the cooked steaks on the campfire. I will say, Christine, she's a chef, so she did the cooking. And we sat out there. There was a picnic table. We brainstormed out there. So much went on that was just, oh, I can't even tell you how it felt, but it was like I was there in this nature place with just my breath, my fellow sisters, and the voice of God. And because at Wildwood Retreat Center, we hiked, we did masterminds, we slept under the stars. Hello, Carrie. Hello, hello. we lived in sync with nature. So it was kind of interesting because, at home, I'll be up till 11 o'clock, maybe midnight, doing little piddly things around the house, or I'm on the computer, but I'm busy doing something. Well, there, Sue in her area, she has electricity, but there's not electricity in the other part. There's a solar thing that she gave us to actually charge our devices. But when it got night, it was night. So um, we would get our flashlight, or I'd get my flashlight and read my book. Well, the flashlight's just not conducive for a long-term reading, or it wasn't for me. And then Christine was reading her book on her Kindle on her phone. And so all of a sudden we'd say, "Oh, I guess we'll just go to bed." And I remember one night I said, "What time is it?" She said, 8:30. Holy moly. So we were tapping into that space where we were just really just going in with the circadian rhythm. So we were going to bed earlier. Um, we would wake up with the sun. Of course, I will share that there were some roosters there that did not crow at the crack of dawn. They crowed a lot of times during the night, and they would wake us up. But it was amazing. It was almost like I could find me again. So you would see the lightning bugs, and there was one night, well, a couple of nights, we could hear the coyotes way off in the distance, and we could hear frogs jumping in the water and the otter jumping in the water. And it's like it just allowed you to just decompress, and oh, it was amazing. So we were totally unfiltered, unhurried, and so deeply connected to the version I sometimes lose in the grind of everyday life. Now, I don't know if you experience that, but I certainly do. Let me pop over here and see if we've got anybody asking questions. Oh, wait a minute. I went in the wrong window. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I I created today's lesson all based on this, right? Because my main message is, and this is something I'm taking in too, is that you don't have to completely escape your life to reconnect. Because nature has a way of stripping away the layers. So here's what I realized. The 3 reminders. How many days? We got there Thursday, came back Sunday. So, and we got there kind of early on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I stayed a little bit later. Christine left early, but I stayed a little bit longer. But it was amazing. So some of the reminders that I brought back, I wanted to share with you guys today, because I will be rewatching this another time, because I will be reminding myself that I don't have to completely step away from my life to do this, right? And you don't either. Not to say you shouldn't do a retreat, because I'm telling you, we're going to do this again in the spring. And we're hoping that we'll be in a place then that there'll be a lot more accommodations for other people, and there'll be a lot of us. But we're kind of glad that for those that don't know, Christine, Sue, and I were doing this retreat, and we opened it up to other people. But one of the things that we realized by doing this together, and we had people that were interested and just could not make the time and the day work, right? But there were things that we really needed to understand and see, so that we could make it a better experience for everybody going forward. So we've got a lot of notes that we're going to be working on. So like I said, there's 3 reminders that I wanted to share. And the first one, and this is the one that usually gets me, I'll be honest. Stillness isn't laziness, it's actually sacred. You don't have to earn your rest. Now, I used to think that, okay, I got to get all these things done and then I can rest. But what I learned by this, and I've had a little inklings about it, quite a few times, but this one was really, really good for me, is that sometimes when you stop just doing, your soul finally gets a chance to speak, and I've said, with our affirmations and our journal prompts, when we do that, we tap into the silence so we can hear, right? We can hear God's voice, we can hear our intuition, but we can do it anytime we want to. So taking a 5-minute walk outside today can be your reunion with yourself. And so I typically take the dog on several walks during the day, but sometimes I'm busy thinking of what I need to do next, or sometimes I'm actually appreciating nature and just enjoying the time. But I've decided that one of the things that I'm going to do from here on out is that one of those walks, it doesn't matter which one of those walks I do during the day, I'm just going to allow myself to just think or not think, to just watch the dog or take any agenda out of it, so that it's just the time to reconnect. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I've decided for me. And then the second truth or reminder is that your truth is simple, but you have to listen for it. So it's in that quiet time that I had, because it was definitely quiet. Of course, some of the times Christine and I were like little teenagers having a sleepover because we were laughing and all kinds of stuff while we were in the bed. She's over there, I'm over here, and we're just laughing and having a good time. But boy, that was beautiful, right? But in the stillness and the quiet of nature, I remembered that I'm not confused. I've just been tuned into the wrong frequency, because that time to just step away from all the noise, all the technology, was just, it's like it just kind of lifted me out. It was beautiful and I loved it. Because what we always talk about, and I was even reminded of it even more over this retreat, is that our intuition doesn't shout at us unless we haven't been listening for quite a while, right? And then it comes with a baseball bat. But most of the time, it's just whispering to us, but we can't hear. So I would love if you were to take just a moment to just quiet yourself. What is your intuition saying to you right now? And it doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It can be so simple and so quiet. And the other reminder that I came back with was that being authentic isn't a performance. It's a coming home. And me, I show up, although my makeup is not crazy where I don't do all the contouring and I don't do all the stuff, but I do wear makeup. I do fix my hair. But I knew on this retreat, avoid the drama. Yes, yes. On this retreat, I didn't even take my makeup with me. Oh, that was that was a big thing for me. And I know for some people that probably sounds like the silliest thing, but for me, that was huge. Huge, I say. And then there was Sue interviewed us about the retreat center. Christine was really good about taking a lot of pictures. I left my phone in the room most of the time, or a loosely termed room, our space, our sleeping space, and most of the time, didn't even carry it around with me. So I didn't get a lot of pictures, but I was in some pictures. And my first thoughts was, oh, my hair's not fixed. I don't have on my makeup. And then I thought, let it go. Let it go. Just be. Right? Allow myself to be seen without the makeup, without all the hustle and the flow, to really be seen. And it was beautiful to be seen by them. We're there together and we're all just being open and relaxed. Something shifted. I felt softened. I felt rooted. And I could feel this energy about me just rising, and I loved it. And and it's interesting because I posted a picture, a little video after I left. I had this stick. I didn't even know what it was when I left, because we actually parked our cars in this field, and I drive a Prius, so it's a little bit lower, and I was a little apprehensive about it, but I said, okay. I was afraid I'd get stuck if it rained or anything like that. But when I left, the car was making a funny noise. And I thought, you know how sometimes you'll get something caught on your wheel and you think, well, I'll just keep driving because it'll dislodge or whatever. And I got to a place where I could stop and get gas. And I got the gas, and then I thought, I'm going to pull over here and park and go in and use the restroom, get a bottle of water. And I could still hear this sound. So when I parked, I get out and I look at the tires, and I don't see anything on the tires other than some little bit of pine straw or whatever the heck it was. Hey, I don't know. So I got down on the ground and I looked, and there was this really long stick that was stuck under my car. And I thought, ooh, that can't be good, right? And so I look around and I think, okay, I've already tried to get it myself. I'm short. I have short arms. I could not reach it. I looked around to see if there was something that I could get to help maybe knock it loose. And then I noticed that there was a pickup truck at one of the pumps getting gas. And I thought, okay, pickup truck, he's probably got to know. So I walk over there and I said, excuse me. I said, I've got a stick under my car and I can't get it loose. Can you just look at it for me? Now he was dressed up like he was going someplace nice. And he comes over and he looks under it and he said, oh, I see it. And it was really funny. So there was a car parked beside me. He said, well, we'll wait till they move so they don't crush my skull, and I will get under the car. So once they moved, he got under the car. He was a tall guy, so he had long arms, and he just reached under and pulled the stick out. And so he was going to go put it in his truck. And I said, no, I said, I'll just take it and throw it in the trash can over there. But I was so appreciative that he helped me, right? And that I asked the right person. And I thought, okay, well, that had to have been the intuition, that connection that I had right then, because he was the only person I asked, and he came and helped me immediately. It was beautiful, right? And so I went and got my water, went to the restroom and everything, and then I left. And the whole way home, I had this just elated feeling. But I did this video right after I had this gentleman help me. And and I didn't have on makeup or anything. And I actually apologized or said something about it when I first started the video, because I don't know why. I felt like I needed to explain why I looked like I did. Silly, right? And my niece, when I talked to her last night, she said, I saw your video. She said, you were glowing. She said, you could tell such an amazing difference in how light you seemed compared to when you left. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea. But it's amazing that when you can take the time, just go outside today and just allow yourself to disconnect. If you feel that you're safe to do so, leave your phone in the house. Go for that walk. Now, I will take my phone with me every time I go for a walk, just in case something happens. But you can put it on silent, stick it in your pocket, and not pay attention to it. But give yourself that time to disconnect, right? So now I'm going to share the affirmation and journal prompt that I created with this, okay? So hold on a second. Hold on. So I hope you ladies are still here. Hold on. Why is it still spinning? Give me a second. Okay, there we go. All right. So the affirmation is, I returned to myself with love, presence, and deep trust because I already am who I came here to be. So how does that affirmation feel? I return to myself with love, presence, and deep trust. I already am who I came here to be. Because most of the time we're looking for, I need to do this and this and this, and then I'll be who I need to be, who I am supposed to be, who I think I'm going to be, right? Ah, beautiful, Carrie. Beautiful. Now, let me get the journal prompt for you. So, what is one thing I can do today to reconnect with the most authentic version of me? Maybe for you, it's going outside and walking like it is for me, but maybe it's something else. What is it for you? And, there may be more than one thing. And so, like I always recommend, get your notebook out, your journal out, and then write down the affirmation and the journal prompt because they go together. And then as you write them out, then say them out loud to yourself, or, you can say them just to yourself internally, right? You don't have to speak it out if you don't want to. But then set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes and just allow that to percolate a little bit. And then when the timer goes off, just brain dump whatever shows up. Like I said, it might be more than one thing. And if it's one thing and only one thing, then just kind of, let flow out. How does that reconnect you to your most authentic version of you? And just allow yourself to just bring all of this out on your paper so that you can look at it and come back to it, because you're going to be surprised, and it always surprises me, is what you write down. And then when you come back a little bit later, sometimes it's just a day later, but then what if you come back in 6 months and you look at it and you say, oh my gosh, I started doing that. And that's when things changed. I started doing that and I experienced this. Because we can't see the difference that things make in us instantly. But when we come back and look, then we see the gold that came out of it. So it's a great measuring stick to write these things down, hang on to them, and then periodically go back and just check what's different because of this. And it's accumulative, right? You do this today, and if you do it again tomorrow, just doing whatever it is that you're going to do today to reconnect, maybe do it. Give yourself the opportunity. What is today? Well, today is the 22nd, right? So you got a little over a week, about a week and a half. Do it for every day for the rest of the month and just see how things change. Give yourself the opportunity to shift, because it all comes down to a choice. we choose to be the best version of ourselves, to be the authentic version of ourselves, and to know that we are already who we came here to be. We just gotta let it out, because a lot of times we're holding it in for fear of somebody saying something about who we are that makes us feel bad. And we learn all these behaviors as we go through life, right? You know, if you've ever been one of those people that when you were in school and the teacher calls on you and you answer and it's wrong and everybody laughs, that happens more than once. And sometimes it only takes once. You get to become this person that doesn't want to raise your hand and say anything because you're afraid of how people will react. And it's interesting because sometimes it only has to happen once for us to all of a sudden have this deep rooted fear. And I think I've shared before, but when I've gotten to this place where when I'm on a Zoom call or I'm at a meeting or something, if they ask somebody's opinion or somebody to share something, I'm the first one to raise my hand. And it's because that's one of the ways that I've been able to overcome some of that stuff, because I figure if I'm the first person that speaks, then I'm telling my truth. Because a lot of times what would happen is if somebody else talked first, I would filter my response from what they had said. So I would think, oh, I didn't realize we were supposed to be talking about it this way. Let me change things. Good time to start new things, yes. And so when I started realizing that I was changing my ideas, my perceptions, my thing because of what the person before me said, I thought, I don't want to do that. I want to be authentic to me. I want to speak my truth. And so I started, boop, first thing, I'm the first one to want to speak. And it's not that I think I'm brilliant. Of course, sometimes I am. But it's because that's the unfiltered me. That's the me that just speaks what I believe, what I think. And I want to stay true to that. I mean, that's the reason I started my podcast, because I'd spent my whole life filtering my voice depending on who I was speaking to. And I finally decided, I learned some things about podcasts, and I said, well, that's what I want to do, because then I can say whatever the hell I want to say. And if people don't like it, they just change to somebody else's podcast. They turn it off, whatever. And I don't even have to know that they didn't like what I had to say. And it changed things for me. So I implore you to take some time today to tap into the silence a little bit, to reconnect with your most authentic version of you, and recognize that you've always been this beautiful, amazing person. Sometimes we squish it down just a little bit. Some people squish it down a lot. And it doesn't really matter. The thing is, you want to allow it out. All right, give me just a second. Let me check on where we're at here. All right, so beautiful. Oh, I lost my... Okay. So what I want you to do in the comments, if you can, is to just think about, and then just comment. You can comment now on those that are here, or you can comment later once you've had time to think about it. But what are you doing today to connect with the real you, the wild, wise, unfiltered you that's been waiting patiently beneath all the noise? It's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. Traditionally, the greeting is to have a sweet New Year. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that, Wendy. Yes, yes, beautiful. So, I would love to hear how this has landed with you today. And I actually have, I got an inspiration from something that Sue shared about her son when we were on the retreat or at the retreat. It doesn't really matter. um, but one of the things that those that know me know that I had this situation of a granddaughter and no longer got to see her. Now, it's a very complicated, long story, but it's been a little over 5 years since I've actually seen her. But what I do all the time is I put my hands on my heart and I close my eyes and I take a few deep breaths. And then I envision her. I don't really know what she looks like now because it's been a long time because she's 10 now. So I haven't seen her for half of her life, right? So I probably, if I saw her today, I wouldn't know who she was. And I understand that. So I just envision even her when the last time I saw her. And I send her peace, love, and light. And I just sit in that space. And sometimes I cry. And sometimes I'm happy. But I think it helps me to see or think that she's doing her thing. She's 10 now, so she might be hanging out with friends. She might be outside playing. She might be cheerleading. She might be doing all kinds of things. And suddenly, for no reason at all, she suddenly feels happy. And that's what I send her. And so I'm really thinking that on my YouTube channel, I may start doing a daily share of the peace, love, and light to everybody that watches. Because I know anything that we do like that does affect things. It does move mountains. And, there's for those that are not, haven't done much research and stuff on quantum physics and stuff, and I've done a little. I am not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but I do research all these things. And there's a thing that they've discovered that when our intentions, when we see things or the things that we think about things actually can change things. They've done these particle experiments where the particles would do things depending on what the person that was observing them was expecting. And so I feel like everything we do like that makes a difference. And so I want to make a positive difference in a simple, easy way. So I will start sharing that out. And but I don't know why, but over the weekend when we were there were different things that came up that really had me feeling like this was something I wanted to do. Now, I'm not going to guarantee how long I'm going to do it. I have no idea. I will do it until it feels like it's time to do something different. But I'm really feeling called right now to share this with everybody so that anybody that watches it can actually feel that energy movement within them, that peace, joy, and love. All right, guys. So I hope this has been beneficial for you. It was definitely on my heart after this amazing, amazing time at Wildwoods Retreat. And she's got her dwelling that Christine and I stayed at, it's listed on Airbnb, and people come and stay in it and love it. You can get a tent there, you can do different things. But if you're looking to disconnect and away, even if it's only for a day or two, just definitely reach out, because it is definitely a change that happens within you. All right, guys. So does anybody have any questions or anything before I stop the live? Let me check real quick and see. All right, I don't see any questions over here. And for whatever reason, I'm glad I'll bring this Facebook thing up on my phone, because it still doesn't show any comments at all on the actual Facebook page, but I see them on my phone. It's an energy thing. It works, and the world needs all the positive energy it can get. Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'll share with you guys, for those that don't know, on my YouTube channel, I'll share it in the Facebook group, and then you can just go in, and if you haven't already started to subscribe and followed me or whatever the heck it is, please do so. And then you can actually hit the bell icon that will give you a notification when I put up information, because tomorrow is the first day that I'm going to be doing this. And because I really wanted today to just decompress a little bit more. And I have several things that I do online today, and I figure it'll just give me a lot more clarity about how I want to go about it tomorrow. So I would love to see you there. All right. So you have an amazing day. And Wendy, you want to give me a closing statement? You are always so good at that. I always struggle on that when you're not here. Let me get a sip of my coffee. All right. Yes, I will share the link for my YouTube. Yeah, that would be great. And I think you can just look me up. It's at Vicky Sue Poole, I think. Hold on. Well, hold the phone just a second. Let me see if I can find it. Trying to see if I'm in the correct one, because I'll have more than one. No, that's the wrong one. So let me switch accounts. Oh, here we go. I got several channels I didn't even know I had. So let's see. Hold on. Okay. It says you're the editor. I know this. All right. So hold on a second. Let me get to it. All right. I will come back and share that with you, because I don't see the link, but I will share it into the Facebook group for you. Good. All right. So thank you for that, Wendy. So I don't know why I'm just getting so excited here. Yes, definitely. All positive thoughts and sweetness. All right, everybody. So Wendy has spoken. So go ahead and have an amazing day connecting with your authentic self. And I will see you next Monday, and hopefully I'll see you on YouTube. Mwah! Love you guys.